Today, drama means revenge, drama means folklore, and drama means all violence with no plot in sight.
Drama means here to sing, movie shows and all between. Laughs and talks every day with Mel and Ryan, come and play.
Hi, welcome to DramaMeans. Today we're talking about the 2025 Japanese movie Demon City.
And first, a little bit of a summary. A hitman who is looking to retire has his world turned upside down when a vicious gang decides to kill him and his entire family. Just one problem. He doesn't die. And now 15 years later, he's finally ready and able to take his revenge.
So let me start with I insisted on watching this movie.
And why is that?
Because...
Was it because you'd heard so much about the intricate plot and amazing action that was going to be unfolded?
No, definitely not that. I basically watched Ikuta Toma since Hanakimi, and when I was young, I used to all my video games. I made an Ikuta Toma avatar.
It's the Wii
Yes.
avatars back in the day.
Yes.
Oh, we're old.
Oh yeah, I had Yamapi, I had Soji Sub, and definitely I had Toma. So, I insisted on watching this because I was like, oh, I've never seen Toma do this type of character before. It'll be fun.
Well, it's very different for him, right? He's not rom-com. That's not right, but
he's not necessarily calm, but he does romance stuff. He does more melodrama. He does do comedy, but he's I've never seen him do super action where he fights a lot. You'll see him do some detectiving type, roles, or kind of eerie, creepy, murdery roles, but
suspense, thriller kind of things, but not flat out revenge, gore, action.
Yeah.
Chop 'em up movies.
Yeah. And so this was the first time I saw him in such a violent role, but I was excited to see him broaden his acting chops.
He's taking a page out of Liam Neeson's book. He's going from Schindler's List and Oscar-winning films, and he's suddenly, I have a certain particular set of skills. You're what is happening with the world?
Yeah. So I was really excited to watch this, and then I terribly regretted it after watching it.
Well, before we get into the regret, can we try to find the good things about this movie first? Let's talk about the good things. So you talked about Toma. One of the good things about this movie was the thumbnail on Netflix. I thought that was pretty cool. It looked cool.
It did.
It was sitting there all badass with this big blade sitting on a body. I was like, all right, this would be awesome.
It did look cool, and I had all the hopes of Yu Yu Hakusho action.
Mm-hmm. I thought the same thing.
I was so excited to see it because I was oh, I hope we get an innovative action choreography, not just gore and blood, but just actual cool movements.
Not so much.
No, not at all.
I'm striving to find something else that I thought was really great about it. I mean, the movie was in focus for the most part. The subtitles more or less told the story, I assume. So those were pretty accurate.
The story was very, very weak.
Calling it a story is insulting to stories. Because it's really not. There's no substance here. I like a good revenge thriller. I think when they're done well, everyone loves Old Boy. And you think about Ong-bak is just such a simple kind of revenge thriller. Oh, you've taken my, was it the idols they broke or whatever? And Tony Jaa just goes crazy. But that was so different and innovative. We'd never seen something like that. The way that Tony did those stunts and how far they were willing to go. So you're hoping for that. No one's expecting Shakespeare here. But, an Old Boy, an Ong-bak, a Kill Bill, something, good old-fashioned revenge. Even the Taken. No hate to Taken.
Yeah, so I wasn't expecting like a masterpiece. I didn't even expect Yu Yu Hakusho level of goodness. I just wanted some kind of like poignant action, and like I don't necessarily think that Toma was bad in this. It was just I don't think he was really given much.
No, I don't think there was much to play. I think it's pretty one note, and you can't fault the actors here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you can look at this and go, oh, this was a failure of acting. This was a failure of, I wouldn't even say concept. Like, what were they excited about making here? Like, what got a bunch of people together and go, oh, you know what we can do? Like, I can take a stab, pun intended, at what I think they thought was exciting, which was this folklore about the demon being reborn and like taking out the gangsters, and so they gotta like kill the guy because the demon of the city will rise against them if they don't, right? And I get how maybe that folklore was attractive, but it was so poorly executed.
Yeah, they didn't give the attention to this folklore. It just came out in some exposition by the very over the top villain. And it was just like it didn't really even give the audience like time to like let it sink and like really marinate on like what this folklore is and like what the demon is, and just kind of like I understand that supposedly after 15 years, I don't know why only like after 15 years did like only because I guess he was like sentenced in like hospital prison, and then he finally got released from this prison, that this demon overtakes his body. But I'm like, he's a demon. If it overtakes his body, it could happen at any time. Why does it have to wait for the sentence to end? Like it was so like nothing made sense.
Well, I couldn't figure out if they were trying to use the demon as a metaphor, and it's just he's not literally being taken over by a demon, it's just a metaphor, and like they were going that way or they were going supernatural. They were kind of like riding this weird fence of like, no, it's really supernatural. Well, not really. He's not a superhuman, but he kind of like totally is.
But if it's a metaphor, then like how like explain the science behind him being a quadriplegic for 15 years, and then all of a sudden when someone comes to try to like kill him for real, he just regains all ability, like, and I know it takes him like 2 seconds to like get his squeaky bones all good again.
Squeaky bones.
Like,
listen, that makes perfect sense because the statute of limitations on paralysis is 15 years. Everyone knows this. If you lay in bed for 15 years and you're paralyzed, you'll get better after 15 years. So, just take that as what it is.
It's just like
of course it's ridiculous.
God.
Of course it's ridiculous. I don't understand. Here's my problem going back to the beginning is I don't really understand, nor did they help me understand, why these bad guys who are obsessed with this demon and they all wear demon face masks think that for sure he is going to be the demon, so he must be eliminated. There's no like scene we kind of get that's like, hey, this guy's the demon, we need to take him out. They're just like, hey, so like we heard this rumor about a demon and like we think it might be you, so we're gonna kill you and your entire family.
Okay, sure. Like they did that. And then supposedly they failed at doing that, right? And then they waited 15 years to complete the job. Like they're all really powerful people, in this weird villain organization that they've developed.
But also in the city, they're like embedded in the city politics. Like they run the city. We own this place.
Yeah. And I'm like, why did you wait 15 years? Like it just made absolute no sense whatsoever. And
like going back to a documentary that I think is much better, which is called The Crow. And in that, at least, they kill Eric Draven and they bury him. And they think he's dead. and then he crawls out of his grave. So there's a reason that the bad guys are sort of like, oh shit, he's back, right? And this, they're like, they kill him, and then he goes to the hospital for a while, and they're like, yeah, we know all about this prophecy that says if you kill the demon, that he arises and kills you all, but we're not going to finish the job. We're just going to, like, let him be. Guys, you're not sticking to the plot here.
Yeah. So, like, we have characters that are all idiots and does absolutely nothing right.
Yeah, and I, like, it's one of those, what do you call it when the movie wouldn't have happened if the bad guys didn't do the thing they did? Like, we open on that bloody, gory scene where he kills everybody, and he's like, all right, I'm going to go home and retire. And then he goes home, and if the bad guys would have done nothing, he would have just retired, and then the movie would have been over. But instead, they do a series of stupid shit that undoes them all. And it's all unnecessary stupid shit. It's not even like, oh man, he was threatening us, so like, we didn't want to kill the demon, but we had to because he was no, he was gonna go home and retire.
This movie offers nothing.
I also want to say it doesn't say much for Japanese hospitals, because he's in a hospital for 15 years and doesn't get better. And then he's out of the hospital for 2 days and he gets better. Like, what is this saying about the Japanese medical situation they got over there? Should we be concerned?
No, you just have to, like, I don't know. I'm going with the demon taking over his body, because the other one is just like, there's nothing to, I don't know, whatever.
You know what this feels like? It feels like they had an idea for like 10 scenes. They're like, hey, we've got these 10 scenes we really like. Let's figure out how to stitch them together. And no one knew how to do it. Like 12 people got in a room and couldn't figure out how to put a jigsaw puzzle together with these 10 pieces. But they really liked the scene of him, like, getting his squeaky bones back, as you say, and, like, fighting off the guy who shows up to kill him. And then he's like, okay, I'm better. I'm just going to go kill all the bad guys now.
Yeah. And him slowly walking out of the hospital, and he goes from, like kind of limpy, like, zombie-like, and then to, like, just walking out normal.
Now, I want to move on to something that always makes me laugh, which is Mel has this thing in action movies and crazy, like, high concept thrillers. And she's like, oh my God, the bad guys, they're touching everything and leaving their fingerprints behind. And, like, we're watching, like, Bullet Train. And it's like, those bad guys touch, like, those whole seats. Like, they're leaving their fingerprints everywhere. And I'm like, it's not that kind of movie. But here, you start to wonder how the cops thought he killed his family. Like, you walk into this crime scene and you're like, I know what happened. He tried to kill his family. What?
It's just like, okay, like, they are literally acting like there's no science in this movie. Like, there's no
ballistics.
Yeah, like, no blood splatter analysis, no, like, bullet trajectory, like, it's just like, he fucking got, like, shot in the head with a bullet. Like, if he did it himself, it would be, like, close, like, and it would be a certain angle. Like, all this shit was just thrown out the fucking door.
We've all seen enough Dexter to know that there's little red strings that happen in a crime scene, and then you can figure out what happens. But apparently that doesn't exist in this world.
Yeah.
There's a movie called, oh my gosh, it's like a Lethal Weapon spoof. It's called Loaded Weapon 1 with Emilio Estevez. And the running joke is that every crime scene they walk into, no matter how ridiculous, the coroner goes, looks like a suicide to me, sir. And there's just, like, machine gun fire everywhere, and there's 12 dead bodies. And he's like, are you sure? Yep, looks like a suicide to me. And I was like, that's the coroner they got for this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and the thing is, you can argue, like, oh, the villain, like, pulled strings and, like...
Sure.
But it was just so... Like, really?
He can pull enough strings to get the guy locked to a hospital bed for 15 years and spirit away the daughter, who he's been convicted of killing but's not really dead. He can pull all those strings, but he can't kill him inside of the hospital.
Yep. And he had to wait 15 years. Although they did. The first attempt
was in the hospital.
Yeah.
So it's one of those movies where it's a fighting premise. And this happens in TV all the time if you really pay attention, where you have a good guy or a bad guy who you want to be all powerful, and then they're specifically not powerful in really weird ways, because if they were, there'd be no obstacle or there'd be no story. And so then it gets a little weird, because you're like, wait, this all-powerful bad guy that has access to all the spy satellites can't hear this conversation in the next room? Well, that's weird, but the movie wouldn't work if that wasn't true. And so there's these competing premises that we sometimes fall into, but this one does it in a very, like, sort of way.
I really don't think whoever the writers are, and I don't actually know if this is, like, based off of something else.
It's gotta be.
Yeah. So whatever it is, like, whoever wrote this didn't give a shit. Like,
no, they had 10 scenes they wanted to string together with other scenes to make a movie. And that's what they did. So
it is quite awful. And I felt really bad towards Ryan for making him watch this. But I mean, I thought he would enjoy it because it's like violence, but.
Like, I think there's a good version of this movie. There's, like, the premise isn't completely unheard of. You have this folklore element. You have an all-powerful bad guy. This can be done well. Now, the fact, I was just telling Mel that there's an amazing movie from the 90s starring Steven Seagal where he almost gets murdered and his wife gets killed. And then he wakes up 7 years later from a coma. And the bad guys come after him, and there's a riveting hospital escape. Yes, the Steven Seagal movie is better than this movie. Because I love that movie as a kid. And I bet if I watched it today, it wouldn't hold up, but it would still be better than Demon City.
Yeah, that's saying a lot. I do. I wish they had put more effort into it.
But we see this with Netflix from time to time, where they get a concept and you get a producer behind a concept and then you get a star. And I don't think we're arguing that Touma can't get a movie greenlit. It's a big enough star. And so you get your star and you get your producer and you make things like this. And you make things like Red Notice that are just so bad. But hey, The Rock and Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot are going to do an action movie. And that's all that matters. We don't care about anything else, including the plot, including anything. And I think that's how these movies happen. I think they know where they want to spend their money. Again, the thumbnail is cool, so you'll click on the thumbnail and it'll go to the top 10, especially in Japan. And they'll get to claim victory. And it's like, oh, well, I had people arguing with me online. Well, it's in the top 10 of Netflix. The fact that you think it sucks means you're an idiot. Well, no, that's not how it works. First of all, I get my opinion. I'm allowed my opinion. Fuck off.
But also the top 10s are kind of...
fake?
Yeah.
Yes. Everyone who watched 4 minutes of it, thumbs up. I watched 4 minutes of that. It was great.
I really don't know what else to say about this because I really did not enjoy watching this at all.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the action because the thing I always look for in bad movies, because I will watch some bad movies. You know this.
Yes. I mean, I watch some bad movies too.
But the thing I always look for in these dumb action type movies is, have they done something in them that I've never seen before? Because sometimes even the dumbest movie, they do one thing that you've never seen before. So I'm going to take, for example, I know I'm referencing a lot of things that aren't the thing we're reviewing, but there's a new movie on Netflix called Havoc, which I also thought was terrible. It's Tom Hardy. But there's a moment in that movie where he shoots the bad guy with a harpoon gun. And the harpoon goes like through her throat and into the wall, and she's like hanging on this harpoon line between the bad guy, or between Tom Hardy and the wall. And she pulls out a knife and she's trying to like inch down the line to like swipe at him one last time. And I was like, okay, I've never seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the best thing I've ever seen? No, but I was like, okay, they're trying. That I've never seen that before, and it was actually like the fact that she's still trying to kill him while she knows she's dying and she's flailing. I'm like, okay, there's something to take from this. I can confidently say there's nothing to take from Demon City. Like nothing. I can't think of a single moment in this movie where I was like, oh, that was innovative. Oh, that was slick. Like just a cool action move. Oh, that was slick. That was cool. That was brutal. Even their dumb like twin twist. I was like, okay, if you need it.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit at this point? Oh my god, twins. They exist in this world. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, it was just like the tool that they basically use so that the daughter can get the revenge.
Right. And also, who cares?
Yeah.
At that point. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, like they didn't even. You would. I would hope that, like, they would have better moments with, like, him and his daughter and the realization that he's her father and, just like more. Like actual, like, real moments. Because we've watched some bad stuff, and even the bad stuff has moments, like good moments, right? Like those, 7 puzzle pieces. Those 7 puzzle pieces should be good. And even if all the stuff around those puzzle pieces are bad, we should be like, oh, well, we have this puzzle piece and this puzzle piece, and those are good moments. Those puzzle pieces, whatever they were to the filmmaker, it wasn't good either.
Yeah, it was empty calories feeding on empty calories. It really wasn't. And I think, too, like, a lot of people are going to say, and this is a thing I've been hearing quite often, oh, it's just a mindless action movie. You're thinking about it too much. You're asking for it to be, something it isn't. But again, I keep saying it. I do think there has to be a bar between what is good and what is bad. Like, Taken is also a cheesy action movie. Taken is a good attempt at a cheesy action movie. It's these Jason Statham movies that we always make fun of, The Beekeeper. Like, Beekeeper, you can say what you want about it. It's a dumb movie, but like there's a logic to the world they've created, and like, do I love it? No, but I actually understand why it's made. And so when you see something that is just so inept, no, I'm not going to just turn my brain off and enjoy it and say, oh, well, some movies are just supposed to be quote unquote entertaining and you're not supposed to think about it. And, you're looking too deep. I don't know. I don't think I'm looking deep at all. Like, if you don't have to look deep at all and you still see the crap, like,
Yeah.
like, what are we doing? Are we really holding our filmmakers to no standards anymore? Like, none? You can just make whatever you want. It can be as crappy as you want, and I have to appreciate it? Incorrect.
Yeah. Like, we went into it with no expectations. And the fact that there were no expectations and they still,
Mm-hmm.
disappointed, it's like, it's really, really bad.
It is kind of like when I went into watching John Wick, the first one, the first time. I had no expectations of it. I actually didn't think it was going to be very good. I was like, I don't even know. Why is it called John Wick? The title sucks. And then you come out of it going, oh, that was kind of entertaining. That was interesting. That was fun. Like, there were things to take away from it. Again, is it poetry? Is it going to win an Academy Award? No. But was it enjoyable? Yeah, because they gave a shit. Everyone involved gave a shit and they wanted to try something new, the gun fu and all that jazz. So it can be done well. This just isn't done well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've beat this dead horse beyond dead. We can have a short episode, right? We're allowed to have a short episode, right? Will people out there forgive us for having a short episode? Because otherwise we can sit here and bitch for another half an hour.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I would have to say my rating is like stomach turbulence.
Yeah. I mean, wow, that's like what, second to worst? That's bad. I was looking at counting the minutes till it ends because I literally was doing that. I was like, man, is this over yet? This can't keep going. And then they did the whole revenge thing with the daughter, and I'm like, really? Well, I had to sit around for 5 extra minutes? This seems unfair.
Yeah.
So I'll stick with that, counting the minutes till the end, because it was in focus and the thumbnail was cool.
That is such low standard. That is...
Really? I don't think it gets much lower.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm giving a couple points to your buddy Touma.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you guys understand that, like, I really, really, really like Touma. And I don't like him less from watching this, but, like, I am very disappointed that I wasted my time to watch it. But I'm not like over exaggerating at how bad it is.
I agree. So our recommendation this week is a revenge film that is done well. It is the 2005 Korean revenge film, A Bittersweet Life. And this put Lee Byung-hun on my radar. And unfortunately, he was in things like G.I. Joe and stuff that wasn't very good. And so, but he's fantastic in A Bittersweet Life. It's a really violent, fun romp. And it's subtle in the way that almost an independent movie is subtle. And I enjoyed this movie from beginning to end. And again, when I watched it the first time, I went in not knowing anything about it. I didn't know the director. I didn't know the lead actor. I just sat down and watched it. And, it's a dumb little revenge thriller. And I was thoroughly entertained and enjoyed all of it. So if you have a chance, check out A Bittersweet Life.
And more poignant than your normal revenge story.
Absolutely. And I think under the radar, I think Old Boy gets all the love. And A Bittersweet Life gets a little bit overlooked. And I don't think it should. I think people should go out and watch it. So,
yeah.
Anyway, I guess that's our show, our slightly abbreviated episode.
Yeah, well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.